My Phoenix body is almost completed. It's 86% done. And it's looking pretty good. I've got my little bucket of water ready. Well, print job's finished. I'm just taking it off the printer now. Looking good. Yeah, it's not bad at all. Came out really, really well. Oh, support came off there, but I think she'll be okay. Let's break it off. There we go. She was on there quite well, which is good. You don't want it falling off. And let's pull off some of these supports. Love these light supports. They just fall off the model. Just take them off. And I'm using some water washable resin. I love this stuff. You don't have to play with the alcohol. And then all you do is you put it in a tub of water. Move that out of the way. And yeah, I lift up the camera a bit. And you just soak it in some, I use some soapy water. And you get the resin off it. You can use I've got this little brush. And the little brush is great because you can get into all the little detail and get some resin out. Just kind of brush out all the little detail parts. Not that it sticks in there very well, it just helps remove it quicker. And then what I do is I take it to the kitchen sink once I've done this, and I run it under the tap and give it a good rub down and rinse out, make sure all the resin is off the piece. And then I'll throw it under the UV light for about 5 to 10 minutes. A big part like this, I'll probably do 10 minutes. I'll do like 5 minutes on one side, flip it over, do the other side. Yeah, this one came out perfect. But it's soaked, not like the original one I did, which I mucked up. I had my build plate a little crooked, and I saw it going down and it wasn't quite straight, and I went, it should be okay. And I was watching it and it seemed okay until it finished, and I took it out and I saw that it was missing a little piece. Where it was crooked on the build plate, it missed the light, so it just didn't do that part. This one here is absolutely perfect. You gotta love the detail on this. Just unbelievable how well these resin printers do sharp detail. And the parts, I was a little worried about reducing it down to 70% from 100%, because this is probably the biggest part. I mean, I had nothing to spare on my resin printer with this part. This is probably the biggest part I can print off the build plate itself. And you can see it's not a very, very big build plate. It's good enough. I mean, it's been working for me. But if I ever bought a new printer, I definitely get a bigger build plate. Some of the new ones they have out now have these huge plates on them. And you can print actually more stuff per print job because of the bigger build plate. So I'm going to take that to the kitchen sink and wash it. And I'll be back. Well, I have it all washed up. Just drying it off with a paper towel. I think I got all the resin off. And the only thing I noticed was it had little supports inside here. Some tweezers, get those all out. And then what I'm going to do is throw it on the UV light. Yeah, it came out really nice. Okay, she's ready for the UV light. I've got my little stand, like this little stand. When light hits it, it automatically starts turning. It's got these little solar panels on it, and I'm gonna put it down here, turn on the light, and as you can see, she gets hit by the UV light, spins around, and I'll do that for about 5 minutes, and then I'll flip it over. It's a big part, so I might put a little more light on it. It won't hurt anything. Some people put them out in the sun, but I like the UV light. It has better control, and seems to work pretty well. It was cheap. I got it off, I think it was Amazon. I got the little light fixture, UV light fixture off there for relatively cheap. And I'm printing out a new project. I'm doing some corrections. This is the only fix I've had to do. These parts, I need 6 of these, came out. I broke one, but I don't know, I wasn't really 100% happy. They've got like a little bend to them, a little bow. And I noticed when you print them, the best way to print these, when you put them in a Chitu box, is you put them not like this. Never lay them flat on the plate, because you saw how hard it was to scrape off the supports. You end up breaking everything. So I use the auto support, but I tend to, on these small parts, I'll put them sideways. I'll put them on about a 45-degree angle, sideways on the plate, and get them ready for printing. I need 6, so I put about 8 of them on the print job. I'm gonna redo these, just try and see if I can make them a little better. I could use these if I wanted to, because it's pretty light. You could probably bend that down, but some of the ends got kind of warped a little bit. It's hard to see, but the tails got a little warped. Here's a good example of one. I redid these ones the same way. I had the same problem, so I ended up putting them sideways on that angle, and they printed out quite well. I love the if you're ever getting resin, this stuff here is just great. It's any cubic. Let me see if I can get any cubic water washable resin, and I got the gray. This is a kilo, and I've got about a quarter of the bottle left, so it used about, to print out this entire ship with the body and everything, it used about 3/4 of a bottle. Although I did make some mistakes, I had to do about 3 fixes when I printed parts I wasn't quite happy with, like this round circle. It's perfect now, but the first attempt, I don't know, something happened to it, and it one of the edges got a little warped, and it didn't have a really good fit. So I redid that, and I did these guys again, and of course the body, and that was about it. Everything else came out pretty good. I can't believe like how nice that is. Next up after this build is printed, I'm going to do the clear parts, and we'll see how that goes. I've never used clear before in water washable, but you know, we'll see how it goes. And I'm running on the water washable, I'm running about 3.2 seconds exposure rate. Seems to work quite well, holds all the detail, all the supports stick really nice. I've had no problems with it, and the fit is just unbelievable. Like I was playing around with it. There's this little piece that goes down the center. One of these goes down the center, and it's kind of notched, and it just slid in like butter. Like it fit perfectly on it, and all the parts were fitting on it just perfectly. And even the little the little rocket thing here sits on a little circle. It's just like absolutely perfect when you get it on. There's no play, no movement. Even the little shock absorber arm, they're tiny little things, went into place perfectly. I've been kind of test fitting. These are the warp cell pylons, and all the parts go in there really nice. I'm debating. It was funny. I was like, how am I going to run wires from the warp cell to the base? And Robert, the fellow who made this, actually put a hole in there to run the wires through. So you run them from the warp cell right into the base, and then I'll have to make a hole to put a mount on it. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet. I'll think about it. But I'm debating. He talked about if you use the arms, I guess more for the foldable, to put a brass tube in there to give it some extra support. Now this resin's pretty strong. It's not like plastic, but I'm debating whether to drill out the hole a little further, I found out that my drill bit goes about 3/4 of the way down, so I could kind of open that up a bit more by going, both ends and opening it up and putting a brass rod, maybe a millimeter brass rod down the center, and then something that's hollow, so I can still run the wires through. I'm debating. I mean, this is pretty solid stuff, and these don't weigh that much, so I don't know. I'll have to see when all the parts are added on, because you got all these little components that go on the end, and the clear parts, and these little things. Oh, and this is going to be fun for the Bussard collectors. So in here I'm going to have a blue clear plate. The front, I think, is going to be white. And for the Bussard collector, it's usually red, but there's like some movement in it. And he does give you a piece with little holes drilled in where you could add lights and, do something creative with it. But I saw this one video of a guy. What he did is he took the NeoPixel strips, and he used a theater effect on an Arduino Nano. And it's like a running theater effect. And then he rolled it up into a little ball. And he put it in the end where the lights would sit. I'm debating maybe trying something like that. That would be interesting. And the effect is so cool. It looks really, really nice. Very spot on to what the show had. So I'll play around with it. Right now, after I'm finished printing all the parts, I'm going to, put them away and start working on my Starship, the refit, the one I've got over in the corner here. I was hoping my flat top lighthouse lights would have come in yesterday, but they didn't. They're coming in July 3rd, so there is some stuff I can still do, but we'll see. I'm going to put the Phoenix project on hold. I'll put all the parts away, and then I'll start working on the Starship. And once the Starship's completed, I'll start working on the Phoenix at that point. And yeah, it's exciting. It should be a really fun build.